This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 22nd day of May in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Now here is what we're tracking tonight. As Venezuela continues with its acts of provocation against Guyana and its plans to elect a governor for Guyana's Essequibo on Sunday, Vice President Barra Jagdeo is urging citizens not to panic, assuring that Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity will remain intact.
We have kept our country safe over the years. We have a strong international partnership. We have the ICJ ruling. We have a great case before the ICJ that I have no doubt would reaffirm the validity of the 1899 award. So we need to demonstrate that, act maturely, rationally. We can't be as irrational as he is or as panicked as he is. We have to be deliberate in our undertaking.
While Venezuela has rejected the orders of the International Court of Justice to refrain from its planned elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo, the government of Guyana said there is no indication that the election will be conducted any place in Guyana. Mr. Jagdeo said the planned election is another attempt by the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to deflect and seek relevance as he faces a mountain of U.S. sanctions. Guyana, Mr. Jagdeo assured, will not bow and remains resolute that the ICJ will uphold the validity of the 1899 arbitral award, which settled the border dispute between Guyana and Venezuela.
Every time this guy acts up, we can't be self-flagellating. We have already know what Maduro is and the deflection. Every time he sends a vessel out there, like the last time he sent a vessel and was trying to meet the president, and the president did not meet with him because it was designed to take him out of his relative isolation. So when he meets the president with some leaders, he could claim that he has relevance.
The vice president said the Maduro administration has resorted to spreading propaganda because citizens of Venezuela have not bought into its spurious claims that the Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. He said, on the other hand, Guyanese do not need convincing, since all of Guyana knows the Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
We don't need to convince our people that Essequibo belongs to us. Every child knows that. We're in control of it. We go fly down to the border in Mabaruma and Port Kaituma and all of that. So I hear a lot of this from the opposition. Oh, we're not doing this campaign and Venezuela is doing that campaign. They need that campaign because their own people don't believe it.
On Wednesday, President Irfan Ali said Guyana will continue to pursue the case at the International Court of Justice, even as it strengthens its security defense with the support of the international community. The U.S. is among countries providing support to Guyana. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has warned Venezuela that any attack on Guyana would mark a very bad day for Venezuela. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Welcome back. Businessman Rodney Jagdeo was today charged for inciting persons to commit treason. He was granted bail in the sum of $350,000, according to the police. The 39-year-old businessman from Alexander Village appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court this morning, where the charge was read to him. He was not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge. As part of his bail package, Jagdeo has been ordered to report to the Cybercrimes Unit of the Guyana Police Force on the third Friday of every month for the duration of his trial. The businessman was charged in connection with a statement he made on social media that Guyana's Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. He made a statement after persons highlighted and criticized his business place for having a sign erected with a map of Guyana with Essequibo County missing. Jagdeo owns the $1,000 store on the east bank of the Marara. The Guyana government has been clear in going after persons locally who openly support Venezuela's claims of Guyana's Essequibo, especially in light of Venezuela's ongoing acts of provocation and aggression towards Guyana. Jagdeo is no stranger to the local courts. A few years ago, he was charged with the murder of his friend, who he had accused of having a relationship with his girlfriend at the time. He was, however, freed of that murder charge after the main witness to the murder was a no-show during the case. A Brazilian national who operates a shop in Region 8 has been arrested by the Special Organized Crime Unit for alleged gold smuggling and money laundering. In a statement today, the police said in a major intelligence-led operation conducted yesterday, Officers of the Special Organized Crime Unit arrested the businessman Osmil de Silva at his business place in Region 8. The police said a substantial quantity of raw gold, equipment, documents, and over 17 million Guyana dollars in cash were seized during the operation. According to the head of SOCU, Deputy Commissioner Fazil Karimbash, SOCU officers were able to disrupt an alleged illegal smuggling operation before the gold could be moved across the border. The police said the latest success is part of the continued efforts by law enforcement agencies to disrupt the illegal gold trade and safeguard Guyana's mineral resources, adding that the outcome of the operation reinforces the seriousness with which national security agencies are responding to illegal mining and smuggling activities. SOCU said the incident also adds to a growing list of cases involving Brazilian nationals operating unlawfully within Guyana's gold mining regions. In March this year, 2 Brazilian nationals were arrested in Letem during an operation that led to the seizure of a quantity of gold and over $26 million in cash. In a separate operation in April, 2 more Brazilian nationals, along with a Cuban national and the Guyanese national, were taken into custody after the authorities confiscated more than $30 million in gold and $31 million in cash. The government has been stepping up efforts to curb the illegal gold trade that has been taking place in many of the bordering communities where mining is done. The Guyana government, through the Ministry of Natural Resources, has announced that it is disputing more than $65 million in declared expenses from the ExxonMobil company in its second cost audit. The government had already disputed $214 million from the first audit. The second audit, which examined costs incurred between 2018 and 2020, reviewed $7.2 billion in declared expenses. Of that amount, the government did not accept $65.1 million. In a release, the Ministry of Natural Resources said its position was communicated to the co-venturers, and they have since provided updated submissions, which are under review by the government. The first audit, covering the period 1999 to 2017, which was conducted by IHS Markit, is in dispute and has headed for arbitration. The government, in keeping with its findings, has disputed approximately $214 million in costs submitted by the companies. This was communicated to ExxonMobil and its partners, and both the government and the co-venturers have agreed to activate the provision for a sole expert as enshrined in the production sharing agreement. The ministry said audits were contracted by the government as part of its cost recovery verification process, which is provided for under the petroleum agreement with the Stabroek Block co-venturers, ExxonMobil, Hess, and Sinuk. The government said it has submitted multiple nominees for the sole expert. The sole expert is an established dispute resolution mechanism which can resolve disagreements over the cost recovery claims. ExxonMobil, acting on behalf of the co-venturers, has until the end of this month to provide its response, the ministry said. According to the ministry, the third audit, covering the period 2021 to 2023, has been completed and submitted to the government, with the Guyana Revenue Authority currently reviewing the submissions. The Natural Resources Ministry said the government is committed to the prudent management of Guyana's oil and gas sector and will continue to keep the public informed of its work in that regard.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the GECOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 and 13 to 16 hours 30. Friday, 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
New York City. Summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Medas, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58 inch, 65 inch, 70 inch, 75 inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
In the world of finance, the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, has launched a $1 billion oil services financing facility to support local businesses in the oil and gas sector here in Guyana. The bank has concluded a roadshow event in the country, which was held in collaboration with the government of Guyana. The African Export-Import Bank has been pushing to strengthen economic trade and partnership between Caribbean countries and Africa. The $1 billion initiative follows bilateral discussions between President Irfan Ali and the president of the bank. Minister responsible for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, said there is really deep and profound ties between the African continent and the Caribbean, which is rooted primarily in its people and culture. He noted, however, that there are also remarkable economic opportunities that have remained untapped and undertapped for far too long, and it's time for the current generation to move the relationship beyond historic, cultural, and emotional times and instead capitalize and leverage resources to realize the vast economic and commercial opportunities that exist between the economies of Africa and the Caribbean. The finance minister also expressed appreciation to the bank's leadership on behalf of the government of Guyana for establishing the facility and convening the event to introduce the Guyanese private sector to the various financial products and encourage the bank to work closely with the sector to facilitate real transactions. He urged the local private sector to interrogate and analyze the products offered by the bank in detail to fully understand their potential and their benefits, and to take advantage of the opportunities that they present. Dr. Singh also called on other international and regional agencies to do more with the Guyanese private sector, given the vast opportunities and exponential economic growth in the country today. During a presentation at the forum, Afreximbank's regional chief operating officer pointed out that the launch was not just a promise, but it is something that will be implemented. He noted that it is imperative that not just international oil firms, but local businesses also benefit from Guyana's oil wealth. The Afreximbank was launched in 1993 with a mission to stimulate a consistent expansion, diversification, and development of African trade, while operating as a first-class, profit-oriented, socially responsible financial institution and the center of excellence in African trade matters. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo today said concerns raised by truckers that Chinese companies and businesses are taking over their jobs represents a fallacy and is nothing more than fiction. He explained that there are many factors which may have led the truckers feeling left out. At a press conference today, the Vice President said there are no Chinese companies that have permits for quarrying or sand mining here. Instead, he said many Guyanese permit holders have been outsourcing to the Chinese. Further, Mr. Jagdeo said because of the expansion of the quarrying and sand mining sector, the cost of sand and stones has also been significantly reduced, which has also affected the truckers and quarry owners' profit margins. He told reporters that there are not much Chinese companies operating here, and therefore the Chinese have not been controlling the sector and they have not been putting truckers out of business.
So this fallacy about Chinese taking over, but many of them are buying the stone, sand, etc., operating, their trucks, etc. But the Guyanese have the permits. But look at the change in production from 700,000 to 12 million, and then from 740,000 tons of stone to 3.3 million, and that's in 2024. Now, just imagine this was not being done, and it's done because of the PPP's civic government program.
Earlier this week, a number of local truck drivers protested what they called a foreign takeover of the trucking business in the country. They said it's driving them out of business. But Mr. Jagdeo said that is not the case.
So you have thousands of Guyanese truckers now, including people who own their own trucks, who are working now in all of these programs. So people should not be misled politically. Of course, that's why we sent Edgehill to meet the people, because there are people and we have to find a way of assisting them. But I want to urge them not to be misled by these politicians.
To make his point, Mr. Jagdeo said on the east coast of the Marara, for example, there are more than $52 billion worth of government contracts, and there are no Chinese companies involved. He said that is also the case in many regions.
All Guyanese people, and they need sand and stone and everything to do this. So where are the Chinese contractors working? On the East Bank, they won the IDB bid to expand and repave the road from the airport to about the stadium, the old road. On the Heroes Highway, they got about 4 or 5 lots, which represents, when you look at it sum-wise, less than 10% of the cost of the Heroes Highway. The other 90% went to Guyanese companies, the Heroes Highway.
The truckers, however, maintain that they are being overlooked and that they're now losing out on business. Police investigators are probing an accident along the Suzdijk-Linden Highway that resulted in a heavy-duty truck careening off one of the bridges and ending up in a creek. The police force's traffic department was alerted to the accident this morning by passers-by. However, the driver of the truck was not found at the scene, and the police also noticed that the license plates for the truck were removed. Efforts are now on the way to ascertain the ownership of the truck. News source understands that the police also visited the Linden Hospital, and there was no patient brought in from any overnight accident. A number of construction companies have been using the heavy-duty trucks to ferry building materials from the town of Linden. Investigators have been checking with some of those companies, but there are also many truck drivers who operate independently. Several sections of the Suzdijk-Linden Highway are under construction, and drivers have been urged to proceed with caution and slow down their speed. Many road users have complained about the drivers of those heavy-duty trucks ignoring those warnings.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care cash grant and the Uniform and School Supplies grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care cash grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tushao.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for days, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guy is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guy Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, dozens of people were injured during a protest outside Argentina's Congress on Wednesday, where activists and retired Argentines demanded higher pensions, according to Reuters witnesses. TV footage showed elderly protesters and activists singing and chanting as security forces pushed through the crowd with riot shields and batons. The protest took place outside Congress as deputies failed to reach quorum for several bills, including proposals for pension increases and continuity of benefits for retirees. The government of Libertarian President Javier Milei, which has sought to improve the economy and tackle painfully high inflation by slashing public spending, opposed both proposals. Malay's austerity drive has triggered weekly protests in the capital, with workers' unions and soccer fans joining retirees to protest pension cuts amid stubborn inflation and reduce public spending. The government argues that its resources are limited, and to increase pensions, the country must first see more investment and economic growth. A U.S. oil license in Venezuela will expire on May 27, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said in a post on his personal X account. U.S. oil company Chevron's license to operate in the country had been set to expire next week. The pro-Maduro Biden oil license in Venezuela will expire as scheduled next Tuesday, May 27, Rubio wrote. U.S. President Donald Trump envoy Richard Grenell, who on Tuesday announced the release of an American detained for months in Venezuela, had met in Antigua with the head of Venezuela's ruling party allied legislature, two sources told Reuters. The sources said Grenell had offered to extend by 60 days the wind-down period for a license allowing U.S. company Chevron to operate in the country. It had been set to expire on May 27. Any 60-day extension would need to be approved by the U.S. Treasury Department and the Department of State. And finally tonight, international news. 2 Israeli embassy staff have been shot dead, leaving an event at the Capital Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., officials say. Sarah Lynn Milgren and Yaron Lischinski were a couple and in the prime of their lives before they were killed, Israel's embassy in the U.S. said. The suspect has been detained and identified by police as a 30-year-old resident from Chicago. Police say he shouted "Free Palestine" after being taken into custody, and officers will look into ties to potential terrorism. U.S. President Donald Trump says the attack was sad. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says security will be increased at all Israeli embassies worldwide. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.